Altos is brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.
Good evening and welcome to Altos, a weekly news and current affairs program produced by the Catholic News and broadcast on Trinity TV and TTT. I'm Raymond Sims sitting in for Neil Parsonal. In the headlines, it's all systems go for the reopening of schools. Tutor says it is satisfied the majority of schools are ready. Prayers of hope for Trinidad and Tobago from Port of Spain to Rome, as this country celebrates 63 years as an independent nation. 6 years after the structure was destroyed in a fire, the St. Vincent Ferrier RC Church in Muruga has been reopened. And later we speak with Andrew Lee Tiwari, manager of the foster care unit of the Children's Authority, as the authority observes Foster Care Month. Top of the news this week, it's all systems go for the reopening of schools on Monday, September 8th. The Ministry of Education says government and government-assisted primary and secondary schools selected for upgrades will be ready on time for the start of the new school term, and Tutor President Martin Lumpkin told Altos on Thursday that the association is satisfied that schools will be ready. But Tutor will be out on Monday assessing and giving support to teachers where needed. Lara Pickford-Gordon has more in this report.
Annually, the July-August vacation is a busy time with school repairs across the country. This year, 279 primary and secondary schools were targeted, and up to Wednesday, September 3rd, the Ministry of Education was reporting the full scope of repairs were done at 246 schools, and 25 others in Caroni, Northeast, Southeast, St. George East, St. Patrick, and Victoria were in the final stages of upgrades. However, the ministry stressed that ongoing work will not affect the reopening of schools. Some repairs, as Altos has been reporting, were done through targeted projects and corporate partnership. The U.S. Embassy also assisted. Tutor President Martin Lumpkin said the association has been getting feedback that the majority of schools are ready and some are being monitored at this time. He told Altos, quote, "Things can happen over the weekend. We are hopeful, if not all, the majority of schools will be ready for reopening," end quote. Lumpkin said, quote, "It brings no joy to Tutor to have any school not reopened. We don't want any opportunity lost for teaching and learning. When that happens, it is daunting for us," end quote. But with a sense of optimism, he said Tutor remains satisfied at this point that the majority of schools will be ready for Monday. Lumpkin said Tutor officers have been visiting schools and will be out next week Monday for the entire week to, quote, "be present and give support to teachers and students," end quote. This is Lara Pickford-Gordon for Catholic News, Altos.
One Nation United in Prayer was the theme of the Day of Prayer and Reflection organized by the RO, the interreligious organization, last Sunday as Trinidad and Tobago celebrated its 63rd anniversary of independence. More than 20 religious organizations participated in the event. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar had called for the Day of Prayer to replace the National Parade this year because of national security issues. Delivering a prayer on behalf of the Roman Catholic Church, Vicar General Father Martin Sergiu prayed for the President, Prime Minister and Leader of the Opposition that they will ensure that their leadership and oversight preserve peace, harmony, security and regional integration. He prayed that even as we seek cooperation from global partners, we would wisely guard our sovereignty and to look deep within ourselves as a nation and stir the strings that will give rise to the rhythm of a robust democracy.
Day of prayer and reflection, not only to pray, but to pray to have the courage to act wisely and justly, and to ensure peace in the Caribbean region.
Opening remarks were delivered by the President of the IRO, Dr. Ellis Burris, and greetings were given by the President of the National Council of Indian Culture, Surichdeo Mangaru. More than 20 religious organizations participated and each religious group was given a certificate of participation to mark the 63rd anniversary of our independence. And while the interreligious organization led a day of prayer locally, Roman Catholic priest Father Robert Christo, who is also the Vicar for Communications, has been leading a group of pilgrims in Rome, and they also have been praying for Trinidad and Tobago. On Tuesday, the group raised Trinidad and Tobago flags and presented petitions as they passed through one of the Jubilee doors of Rome, St. Mary Major, in Father Christo's words, carrying the prayers of our people straight into the heart of Christ. At 3:19 on Tuesday morning, they sang the national anthem and prayed for healing, justice, unity, and peace in Trinidad and Tobago. And yesterday, the group was privileged to be in the audience as Pope Leo XIV drove through St. Peter's Square waving to the crowds. If you listen carefully, you will hear the voice of Father Christo shouting a greeting to the Holy Father. The canonization of Carlo Acutis, the first millennial saint in the Catholic Church, takes place on Sunday, September 7th. A 13-member contingent from the Living Water community is now in Rome for the historic moment when Pope Leo will formally declare Acutis a saint. Acutis, an Italian teenager who died from leukemia in 2006, has been celebrated for his devotion to the Eucharist and his use of technology to promote the Catholic faith. He created a website that documented Eucharistic miracles and Marian apparitions and is widely regarded as a role model for young people in the church. The Catholic community in the southern coastal village of Grand-Chimay are celebrating the reopening of the St. Vincent Ferrier Church. Part of the church was damaged by fire a few years ago. Here's more.
May this church always be a refuge for the weary, a school of holiness for the young, a source of healing for the broken, and a beacon of light for all who seek you.
Father David Kahn was the main celebrant as the St. Vincent Ferrier RC Church in Grand-Chimay, Moruga, was reopened on Thursday, August 28th, the feast of St. Augustine of Hippo. In his homily, Father Kahn said the day was one of great joy and told the congregation the reopening was significant.
The reopening of a church is never just about walls and ceilings, but about hearts and souls being rekindled with the fire of faith.
The former vicar of the Southern Vicariate said the renovated church was beautiful and will draw people, but there is a question that must be answered.
The church is beautiful. The church will draw people because of its beauty. But what will make a people stay is the beauty of you people of God, a people of faith. Are you faithful? That is a question we need to ask ourselves.
I am Raymond Sims for Catholic News Altos. A group of spirited young Catholics from Trinidad and Tobago brought new life to the Legion of Mary in Grenada. The 6 students from Presentation College San Fernando traveled in August to help revitalize the apostolic movement that was beginning to lose momentum. Altos reporter Kaylan Jordan has the story.
6 students from Presentation College San Fernando brought youthful energy to Grenada as part of the Legion of Mary's Youth Presidium, or Lady of the Presentation, the movement's basic unit. Their visit was part of a regional push by the Legion's Regia in Trinidad, which oversees Grenada.
When we first heard from the Regia that many presidia in Grenada were sort of dying down because members were getting older, we were called to come here and try to help.
And the response from local students was more than encouraging.
They didn't look like they were being there because their teacher told them to come or like they were being forced to be there. They truly wanted to know more.
When we are talking to the youth, we need to have a sort of confidence. We need to bring confidence and we need to be a little charismatic with it as well. The seniors, they would have been captivated by it as well.
As part of their outreach, the teens met with Bishop Clyde Harvey and were accompanied by Father Peter Aduwaka, missionary priest of the Via Christi Order, spiritual director of the Regia, and part of the Trinidad delegation.
These boys, when you see them, you see hope. She is present in our generation.
That sense of hope is shared by a powerful role model, Blessed Carlos Acutis, a teen tech whiz and Eucharistic devotee on his path to sainthood.
God bless Carlos with the gift of having that profound interest in the Eucharist, and hopefully God could bless us with that profound interest in Mary.
I am Kaylan Jordan reporting for Catholic News, Altos.
Winston Garcia, co-founder of the People of Praise community, was among the recipients of the Arima Borough Corporation's Civic Awards on Independence Day at the Malabar Community Center. Garcia told Catholic News Altos he stands on the shoulder of the People of Praise community. He was surprised by the award for community service because practicing the corporal works of mercy has been part of his lifestyle for decades.
Let's welcome Brother Winston Garcia to the podium.
It's about 40 years now. I've been doing this kind of thing naturally. I've been, if there's a need, we see a need in the community, we meet it. There are families, there's a fire, there's a need. We try to ask questions, we try to help and so on. And I sometimes act in my own capacity. Like right now, I'm helping some people with books. I'm getting my friends there's some people who lost their job through CPEP and they can't afford to buy books for their children. So I'm gathering stuff and helping out like that.
And we here at Altos, we congratulate Brother Winston and wish him well as he continues ministering to those in need. We're going to a break now, and then when we return, we'll be speaking with Anjali Tiwari, manager at the Foster Care Unit at the Children's Authority, about this month, Foster Care Month. And welcome back to Altos. This September is Foster Care and Adoption Month. It is organized by the Children's Authority. And on set today, we have Anjali Tiwari, who's the manager of the Foster Care Unit at the Children's Authority. Thanks for coming in, Anjali.
Thanks so much for having us today.
Could you tell us a little bit more about this month?
Yeah, so in September every year, we promote foster care and adoption. Right. We encourage persons to open their hearts and home to consider foster care, as well as for adoption. We do consider persons to consider adoption as an option. So we really want to promote that. It's a good way to do charity at home. So a lot of persons don't know about foster care and adoption.
So tell us about what is actually foster care.
Yeah, so I always start by saying foster care is not adoption.
All right.
People hear the two, but they're very different. Foster care is temporary, adoption is permanent. So when we say temporary, if a child is coming into foster care, we are still trying to place children back with their families if possible, because we feel families have a right to their children and children have a right to their families. So as a foster parent, you are stepping in temporarily to provide a safe home, a loving home for that child while we continue to do our work in the background.
Okay, so a question I have is how many children are in the foster care program right now?
So right now we have 160 children, and that includes kinship foster care, because recently we have the power to approve relatives to care for their children. So you could be a sister, brother, aunt, uncle, grandparent, and we help support you if you're struggling or if that child has any sort of child protection concerns. But we really need more foster parents. Every day I get calls for placement of children because you see the headlines every day. There's so much going on, and we just don't have enough foster parents. So that's why, as a culture, we tend to rely on children's homes. And whilst they are trying the best that they can, ideally, children should be with families.
Or people who are willing to be foster parents.
Yeah.
Can I be a foster parent?
Yeah. So you can be male, female, you can be a couple, you can be a mother, a daughter together. Once you have a safe space and love in your heart to provide to that child for that period.
All right, but another question, the foster care unit, does it monitor these
absolutely.
parents? Okay.
So we do thorough screening of our foster parents before they are approved. Once they're approved, they are added to our register of approved foster parents.
Right.
And once a child is placed with you, we don't just place a child and leave.
Right.
We are holding your hand through the process. We are monitoring, we're supporting, and we do offer a lot of support. We offer training, we offer financial support for the child's needs.
Right.
We offer counseling, psychoeducational support. So we do sort of, hold your hand. We're creating a team around the child.
All right. I asked if I could be what is the situation with men? If a man could be a foster parent alone.
If you are a single male and you have, what's important is we ask for any foster parent, single man, single woman, to have good support systems. Fostering, as in being a parent, is a tough job. You need to have that support network. So whether you rely on your neighbors, your friends, your family, as part of your vetting and screening process, we also vet those persons.
All right,
so absolutely, we have approved single meals.
Because in my thinking, I would say you would pay a young meal with another meal, an elder meal, correct? And you wouldn't really.
No, not necessarily.
Right.
Every foster parent has an opportunity to state their preference, whether they prefer babies, boys, girls, siblings, teenagers. So it really is what your experience, because if it is that you're a single meal and your experience is bringing up a daughter.
Right, okay.
Your experience, you know girls, So, but remember, we aren't just leaving children with foster parents. We are continuously monitoring.
Okay.
We are reporting back to the court for the safety of this child.
Okay.
So we are involved.
But is there a time frame in which the foster parent has to care for the foster child? Is there?
So when I say temporary, it can be a day, a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years. In some situations, a child can even stay till they're 18. But we don't know this from the start, because remember, we're still doing our investigations. We're still working in the background. And that's why we don't want persons to use foster care as a way into adoption. They're two separate things. It's two separate categories of children. With adoption, which you'll learn about at another time, where you're actually getting consent to free this child for adoption. That child becomes a permanent member of the home. But with foster care, we are working in the background to see if we can get that family back on their feet, eliminate any sort of danger in that home.
Is there a survey going on right now? I think there's a survey going on.
Yeah, so right now we are at an all-time low, unfortunately, in foster care applicants, and that's why we're here today to appeal to the public. But we are doing a survey right now. You can check it out on our website, www.ttchildren.org. We want to find out what are the barriers? Why aren't people interested, or why aren't they following through? We want to get to the, crux of the matter, because we really do need more foster parents.
But another question that I may have for you, that I have for you actually, is if a child is, I wouldn't say going through a difficult time, right? Is there? You said there is training for the foster parent, and they have the support as well.
Yeah.
But is there any time when the child will have to be taken out from that foster parent's home and return to, like, let's say, a children's home as such?
So okay, I think you're talking about placement breakdown.
Yes.
A lot of kids coming into foster care, they have been through trauma, they've been, abused, they've been through tough times. And sometimes that doesn't play out, but a lot of times it may come out. And if it is a foster parent does not feel equipped sometimes, we do try our best to support and mediate and see how we could keep that strong. But sometimes it doesn't work out, and placement breakdown can happen. We would ideally look at another foster parent if available. And as an absolute last resort, if we can't find another available foster parent, we will see if we can find placement in a children's home, or even explore maybe another relative, So we're constantly working in the background.
All right, so if somebody's looking at this program right now, how do they get information? If they have questions, the concerns, or how do they contact the foster care unit?
So if persons are interested in foster care, we encourage you to call first, have a chat with us, find out what foster care really is, and if you want to commit to it. It's 627-0748, extension 40988, or you can email us at fostercare@ttchildren.org, or you can go on our website, www.ttchildren.org, and download our application package and frequently asked questions.
Have there been any times when we've had enough people?
I I don't know if there'll ever be enough. I think as a small nation, we have so many issues with our kids and families needing support. And our goal is that we don't rely on children's homes as much. We want to place children in families. We want to ask relatives to step forward, explore kinship foster care. We want persons who have been curious about being a parent, but they may not be able to do it full time. You know, we have different time frames. You can be a foster parent. You can be a short-term foster parent, an emergency foster parent, long-term. You let us know what you desire, and we will try to accommodate.
Okay. A question. What is the most difficult part of it? What?
The most difficult part about being a foster carer is that you have to be prepared to say goodbye. And I always say, I'm not going to lie, that is difficult, but you have to be prepared for it, because we want to reframe. People get afraid of being attached, but the fact is being attached means you have a heart and you have love to give. And we get attached at every aspect of our life. You have to say goodbye to school friends, to workmates, to people who pass on, people who go abroad. We give you that training and support. And it's knowing that you have given a child's family time to heal. You have given the gift of time for them and given them back their child. So it's really about reframing that, but it is a tough one, and we provide support before, during, and after. All right, good.
Anjali, is there anything else you'd like to add? I think you've given us a lot of information, I mean, for the viewers to ponder. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think just for persons to think, you know, past the fact that family isn't always about blood. You can provide a family to a child, even if it's for a short period, and we really want to ask persons to consider it. You know, think about how you can do charity at home and give back. And bigger picture, we are creating a better, stronger nation.
All right. Anjali, Tiwari, thank you very much for coming on the program. We'd love to have you back again. We may have you back again very soon.
Thank you.
Maybe some to talk about adoption.
Sure.
That's another area that we need to talk about. So thanks very much, Anjali. We'll be right back. In this Sunday's issue of the Catholic News, the tributes continue for Monsignor Kenneth Spence, who died on August 21st during Holy Mass. Psychologist and educator Dr. Margaret Nakachatur comments on American warships in international waters near Venezuela. If only the sea can talk. Former Senator Hazel Thompson-Ahi pens a letter to the editor addressing the plans by the government to have police at secondary schools. She thinks it's a bad idea. And September is Catechetical Month. We begin a series to highlight the work of catechists and what are their challenges in passing on the faith. Here are the clergy anniversaries for the coming week. And some coming events. I am Raymond Sims, editor of the Catholic News. And welcome back. In some regional news, President Mohamed Irfan Ali was re-elected in Guyana's general election held Monday, September 1st. President Ali secured a strong second term as his party, the People's Progressive Party Civic, secured seats in at least 7 of the 10 regions, including the pivotal Region 4, historic first for the party. The newly formed We Invest in Nationhood WIN party, led by Azruddin Mohammed, captured 16 seats, dethroning the long-standing APNU coalition as the main opposition. As Guyanese headed to the polls, Bishop Francis Allain of Georgetown issued a pastoral letter urging citizens to vote for peace and justice.
Vote with conscience, reject division, support justice, and pray without ceasing for our nation. Let us be peacemakers and nation builders.
And in Rome, Pope Leo XIV has issued an appeal for an end to the pandemic of arms, denouncing the horrific mass shooting in Minneapolis. Meantime, Mass resumed last weekend at the Annunciation Church where the shooting took place. We have more in this report.
Tonight, the head of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo XIV, denouncing the horrific mass shooting that rocked Minneapolis, calling for an end to the pandemic of arms.
Our prayers for the victims of the tragic shooting during a school mass in the American state of Minnesota. Let us plead God to stop the pandemic of arms, large and small, which infects our world.
This weekend, Mass resuming for the first time for parishioners of Annunciation Catholic Church.
I've never, in all my years, experienced such an outpouring of love and light and hope.
The service held in the auditorium. The sanctuary remains closed after 10-year-old Harper Moisky and 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel were shot and killed while praying in the pews. 18 other people, including 15 kids, were injured.
It's a difficult memory, and my first instinct was just to rush towards where the bullets were coming from.
Father Dennis Zarin was presiding over Wednesday's service when the shooter opened fire. Emotional, as he told ABC affiliate KSTP, he did everything he could to protect the children.
If I could have got between those bullets and the kids, that's what I was hoping to do.
And for the victims still recovering tonight, dozens of handmade cards from fellow classmates can be seen adorning their hospital rooms. 11-year-old Genevieve Bissick still lying in the intensive care unit.
And that's a wrap on our show for this week. Thank you for viewing. Remember to continue praying for Trinidad and Tobago, read your Bible, and learn your faith. Have a safe and blessed week and a week ahead, everyone. As we go, we leave you with some video from the Our Lady of Good Counsel Parish in Canada, as in a moment of pride, they commemorated the 63rd anniversary of independence of Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday, August 31st, and prayed for God to bless the people and nation of TNT.
Altos was brought to you with the kind compliments of Rituals Coffee House.